Okay, so now we go on to the next part, which happens to be the metric system. The basic units of the metric system have to do with length, mass, and volume. The basic unit for length would be the meter. It's abbreviated with a lowercase m. The basic, just one m. Not like ME or anything, just lowercase m. The basic unit for mass is the gram, abbreviated with a lowercase g. And the basic unit for volume is the liter, abbreviated with an uppercase L, because the lowercase l looks too much like a 1. So it's a lowercase l. It's an uppercase L. When we talk about these, a lot of times it's easier to do the conversions if you remember that King Henry died unusually drinking chocolate milk. That's the thing. These letters are the thing that is easiest to remember. I'm going to show you how to use them to do the conversions. This is the easiest way I have found yet to do the conversions amongst metrics. It'll work for any metric to metric conversion. When you go metric to metric, you are always going length to length, volume to volume, or mass to mass. Sorry. I can do this. I know how to teach. Isn't that wonderful? Okay, so brain fart. Alright, so when we do this, we have a place to start and you have to have a place to finish. If you have it written out, the KHDUDCM, you can see below what they stand for. The kilo, the hecto, the deca, the unit. That's what U stands for, unit. It could be your meter, your liter, or your gram. The deci, the centi, and the milli. Sometimes it's hard to decide if it's deca or deci. That comes with practice. We don't generally deal with those in this class, so it won't be too much of a sticky point for you. You just know that the D's go in there. We're mainly dealing with the centi, the milli, and the kilo and the unit in this class. So those are the ones you have to kind of concentrate on, but you got to have those spacers in there. So keep in mind the KHDUDCM. As long as you can remember King Henry died unusually drinking chocolate milk, you're good. So when you have that, you'll know where to start from, because they'll tell you, and you'll know where to go to, because they'll tell you. So when you know where to start from, like millimeters, and you can see down here the units that match. So the millimeters, so I'm starting here at millimeters, and I need to go 2 meters, so I'm going to go this way to meters. 1, 2, 3 places over to the left. That means my decimal point needs to move 3 places over to the left. 1, 2, 3. It's going to move 3 places to the left. It tells you where the decimal point moves. The whole decimal point moves, and you get to fill in with zeros. So that makes this 0.000521 meters. For example number 5, we're starting in grams. So I'm going to start here, and I'm moving to kilograms, so I want to finish over here. I move to the left again, 1, 2, 3 places to the left in my chart. So I start where my decimal point is, I don't have a decimal point. If you don't have a decimal point, that means it starts at the end of the number. So it's going to be right there. And I move it 1, 2, 3 places to the left. 1, 2, 3 places to the left. So it's going to be 9.501 kilograms. Just that simple. To go from liters to milliliters, I start where liters are. I go to the milliliters. 1, 2, 3 places. It's not always going to be 3, just so you understand. Going 3 places to the right this time puts me at 4,0060 liters. Sorry, milliliters. I did the first 3. You try the next 3. Pause the video. Try the next 3. You should have gotten 1.457 hectometers to 1,000,000, and then 4.485 grams. If you have a question, let me know. Feel free to email. Moving on. Down here, we have the same kind of metric conversions, the same kind of chart. US to metric, metric to US. These are facts, just like we dealt with in the previous section. Remember when we were writing down facts and we put equal signs in there, and I told you you could have either of those facts on top and either of those facts on the bottom. It works the same way here. I could have the 1 centimeter on the bottom or the 1 centimeter on the top. Well, the problem is you always want to keep a 1 on the bottom if you can. So when I'm going from 34 pounds to kilograms, I look up here and I can use this one or this one because they both go pounds to kilograms. Which one do I want on the bottom? I could put this one on the bottom or this one because they both have pounds in them. But I want to try to keep a 1 on the bottom. So I'm going to use this one that's got the 1 pound on the bottom. That way I have a decimal on the top. That's true. But that's okay. We want the 1 on the bottom. That's what gives us the pretty number. That gives us more accurate answers. And as far as my math lab is concerned, the more accurate you can be, the happier it is. Because you don't want to be really, really close, but wrong. Which happens a lot in my math lab. And it'll still count it wrong. So please try to keep a 1 on the bottom if you can. You can't always, but if you can, and that's why they give you 2 different lists. Try to keep the 1 on the bottom. When you multiply across, you get the 15.4224 kilograms. Remember, my math lab is going to tell you exactly where to round it to. That's why you got to be great at rounding. Here they want you to change 47 miles per hour to meters per second. So we're going to have to change the meters part and the hours part. We've got a lot of work to do. This one right here is a typical problem you are liable to see on an exam. Not just a test, but on an exam. So please be forewarned. It's a typical problem not just for a test, but for an exam. 47 miles per hour to meters per second. I need my miles on the bottom to be changed to meters. But up here, the only thing that's got miles in it are kilometers. This doesn't say nothing about kilometers. My miles has to go on the bottom, so I don't want to use this one over here. I need to use this one over here with the 1 mile. So I'm going to go ahead and put my 1 mile in there. But it says 1.6093 kilometers. I don't want kilometers. I want meters. What do we know about meters and kilometers? 1 kilometer has how many meters in it? (1,000 meters). So now I've fixed that issue. We've got it to meters, but now I've got to change it from hours to seconds. What do we know about hours and seconds? Well, an hour has 60 minutes, so 1 hour's on the bottom. I gotta have 1 hour on top. 1 hour has 60 minutes. What do we know about minutes? 1 minute has 60 seconds. So now I have meters over seconds. So I'll have meters per second. So we're good. So I can multiply all the way across the bottom and divide by every number, multiply all the way across the top, sorry, and divide by every number on the bottom. So when I go to do my calculation, write it down because this is a lot. 47 times the 1.6093 times the 1,000 times 1 times 1. Divide, enter. Divided by, I can skip over these ones because it's not going to change my value. Divided by 60, enter. Divided by 60 again, enter. Equals, okay, I'm back here, and it gives me 21.01 meters per second. Whew, that was a lot. Okay. Told you it was a difficult one.